And today we are welcoming back Orlando Health OBGYN Dr. Christine Greaves to talk about this important topic, sexually transmitted diseases. You definitely get a lot of those questions in your office, and that's great for us to ask you here on TV so everybody can get the answers. So let's say you're in a new relationship and you are just trying to stay safe. Why is it important to have this conversation to begin with?
It's very important to have this conversation to begin with because new relationships happen all the time. And it's important to, if you're reaching that level of your relationship, to talk about your history. And then the reason it's important is because that way you don't find out in the middle of your relationship that you may have something, so you're not questioning when you acquired it. So, and also if you do have something, then it's important to get that fixed or, evaluated and managed before entering that.
Right, and it's about trust. I mean, that's the beginning of your relationship.
Yes.
What if you do have that honest conversation and you find out that this person you're entering this new relationship with has an STD and it's something like herpes or HPV that isn't necessarily treatable? Does that mean that's the end of your relationship?
No, it doesn't mean that's the end of the relationship. That's a great question. What it means is that you need to have a very serious conversation and evaluate the relationship with yourself and that person, thinking, am I going to have a long-term relationship with this person? If you see this as a long-term relationship, then it may be worth the risk of your getting it. But if it's not, then you need to consider, how would I feel having this conversation with the next person that I meet, right? Do you really want to put yourself in that situation? So it's not the end of the relationship, but you could get it.
Yes, it's good to think about your own health in that situation too. Now, some STDs are treatable. So I'm sure that you see some people who have had the same STD more than once. Chlamydia is one that can be treated pretty quickly. But is it important to try and prevent that, not getting the same STD over and over again?
It's very important to try to prevent that. So in order to prevent that, you try to figure out, where did this come from? How did this happen? And yes, when someone comes in, we talk about it. We talk about the risk. We talk about where they may have gotten it, treating themselves, treating their partner as well. But it is important because just because something's super easy to treat, like chlamydia with a simple 1 dose of antibiotics usually, it doesn't mean it doesn't cause harm to our bodies. It can cause harm to our bodies by affecting the fallopian tubes, increasing your risk for ectopic pregnancies, infertility, chronic pelvic pain, etc.
And they're not always treatable, so it is important to have that conversation and even just be tested more than once in your lifetime. How often would you say people should be tested for STDs?
It depends. If you're in a monogamous relationship, then it's great to get tested every year when you go in for your annual exam. If you are entering a new relationship, it's great to get tested before becoming intimate with that person so you can know what you're starting off with. It's also great to get tested if you're concerned at all about trust in the relationship, and furthermore at the end if that comes. So.
Yeah, and you were saying too, you have that conversation with your patients. You say, hey, if you'd like to, we can have an STD test here, no judgments, every year, whether they're in a monogamous relationship or not. Why do you do that?
Because you never know. Yes, the relationship may seem filled with trust, but sometimes what if? So, because it's easier to nip things in the bud.
And it's your overall health that you're worried about there. All right. Dr. Christine Greaves with us again from Orlando Health. We appreciate you answering all of our questions.
Thank you, anytime.
Always so sweet. And we will send it back to the ladies at the desk.